Namaste, beautiful yogis. Welcome to a Vinyasa yoga class. A lot of the class today is designed around opening the hip area, stretching the hip flexors, opening the hip flexors, psoas area. Let's begin at the front of our mats, bringing our awareness into the central axis of the body. Open your hands forward, open your arms out. Taking the shoulder blades down into the back. Extend the tailbone slightly down. Nice deep inhalations. And let's bring the hands over the heart. Close our eyes and contemplate the intention for this class. Let's meditate on a quote by Peter Matheson. In this very breath, right now, lies the secret that all great teachers try to tell us. All the mysteries of the universe lay in the sanctity of this very moment. And to connect to the profoundness and depth of your soul, just quiet the mind and be here and now, fully present. And let's begin the practice. Hands over the head, side bends, grabbing one wrist with the opposite hand, elbows back, reaching over to one side and switching sides. Keeping the feet grounded, equally pressing into both feet as you reach over to one side and back to center. Exhale, folding forward. Breathe into your hamstrings. And you can wrap your wrists around the elbows here and just hang heavy. Allow your head to be heavy. Allow your neck to be heavy, not supporting your head. And slowly begin to roll up to standing. Inhale your hands over your head. Lifting through your chest. And exhale, flat back, all the way hands to the ground. You can keep a slight bend in your knees. Let's step the feet in plank. Holding a strong plank here. Pull the belly in, open the chest. Lower down, chaturanga. Inhale. Upward facing dog and back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Gently lower your heels down towards the floor, and you can look under one shoulder then under the other, walking the feet in place here. Spread your fingers open and try to focus on the area between the index and the thumb. The index finger and the thumb, and try to really press that area down into your mat in order to protect your wrists and build them and strengthen them. Great, and let's walk the feet to the front of the mat. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, halfway up and all the way up to standing mountain pose. Hands over the heart. Big breath in, reaching over the head. Exhale, flat back, forward bend. Inhale, flat back, look ahead of you. Step into plank. Pull the belly in, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Drawing the navel in, extending the tailbone down, lengthening the back of your neck. Back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Spread the fingers open. Press into your knuckles. You can shake your head again, look under the shoulders, making sure there is no tension in your neck, in your jaw, in your face muscles. Unconsciously, we carry our face a certain way through the day, so try to relax your face during yoga so that we can break that pattern. And come to the front of the mat. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, look ahead of you. Come up with a straight back all the way to standing. Hands over the heart. Inhale, reaching over the head. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, look ahead of you. Stepping back into chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Open the chest, press the collarbones apart. Back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. And let's come on to the tippy toes. Lifting the tailbone as high as you can, knees into the rib cage, and jump into chair pose. Pressing your knees back, hips back, belly in, and bend your elbows at 90 degrees and lift them a few times. This is a small move, flexing the upper back muscles as you lift. Holding chair, lifting the arches of your feet. Let's bring the hands behind the head and open the elbows, flare the elbows out. Small moves again. You can lift your elbows slightly, contracting the upper back. Great. Reach over your head. Come up to standing, arching, back to prayer. Inhale, lift. Arch. Exhale, folding forward. Forward bend. Again, you can shake your head, look to your left and to your right. Hands on the floor or on your shin bones, look ahead of you. Flat back, belly in, using your glutes. And let's jump into chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Lifting the kneecaps. Back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Spread the fingers open, take the right leg up, step your right foot between your hands, come up high lunge. Pressing the back heel away from you, extend your tailbone down here. Soften your rib cage. And let's bring the right hand back and around over the left leg. Small twist here, look over your right shoulder. You're gonna feel your psoas muscle here. Great. Now you can clasp your hands behind you and walk them down the left leg. Great. Inhale, hands over the head. Lower your left knee on the floor and walk it back so that your stance here is wide. And let's bring both hands on the floor. Spin your right arm up, left hand on the floor, twist. Keep pressing the back heel away from you and step into plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, back to chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Classic power yoga vinyasa. And let's lift the left leg up, step the left foot between your hands, come up high lunge. Sink a little deeper into your lunge here. And let's bring the left arm back and around to grab the right hamstring. You can look over your left shoulder. Next, we're gonna clasp the hands and open the chest up. Walk your hands down your right leg. And let's lower the knee down on the floor. Low lunge. Lift, arch your back. And let's go into a twist lunge. Right hand on the floor. Spin your left arm up. Press the back heel away from your strong right leg. Great, step into plank. And let's lower the forearms on the floor, keeping them parallel to each other, and take a forearm plank. Press the heels away from you, lifting the kneecaps, squeezing the inner thighs towards each other. Belly is in, tailbone is slightly tucked under. The chest is open, slightly looking ahead of you, just a couple of inches in front of you, so that you're not looking back towards your feet. This allows you to activate your core properly. And resting out of this into extended puppy pose. Press the hands down into your mat and sit halfway back. And come back to elbow plank. Hold a perfect elbow plank. In some ways, elbow plank is more challenging because our body here is more parallel to the floor than in plank on our hands. So there is a little more weight or a little more challenge here that is placed on the core. And you can transition into downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Step the right foot between your hands. Come up high lunge. Lowering the left knee down. Going into a back extension. Reaching over your head. Hands over the heart, and we're gonna twist here. Left elbow on the outside of the right knee. You can lift your left knee off the floor or keep it on the floor. However works best for you. And coming out of this, inhale, hands over the head, high lunge. Bending the left knee, and we're going to take a few hops here. Try to take 5 hops in lunge, keeping the alignment and dipping the left knee down towards the floor. Lowering the hands down on the floor once you're done. And stepping back in plank. Elbows on the floor, elbow plank. Bringing the chin towards the palms. And now take elbow plank and hold it. Let's jump the knees into the rib cage and back. And again, we're gonna go for 10 here. Jumping your knees into the rib cage and back into elbow plank. Go as quickly as you can. And once you're done, you can walk your feet in towards you for dolphin pose. Opening the chest between the elbows and lifting into downward facing dog. See if you can lift with both hands together. Inhale, left leg comes up. Exhale, left foot between your hands. Lower the right knee on the floor. Come up. Low lunge. Slight back extension. Hands over the heart. Twist. Right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Drop the shoulders down. You can lift your right knee off the floor, looking over your left shoulder here. Spin. Exhale, soften your belly, twist. And inhale, coming out of this into high lunge. Let's go for hopping or jumping in lunge on this side. And you can lower your hands on the floor once you're done with 5 or 7 jumps. Holding here, breathe into your hip flexor. And step into elbow plank. Now we're gonna jump the feet on the outside and on the inside of our mat. Go for 10 again, as quickly as you can, holding your belly in. And rest into child's pose once you're done with your 10 reps. Plank. Spread your fingers open, placing your weight equally onto your hands. Side plank, right hand on the floor. Either hold side plank or you can transition into tree pose side plank. Either way, lifting the hips. I'm keeping the outer edge of my right foot on the floor, which is a little more challenging. Keeping your foot there, come into tree pose plank and tree pose downward facing dog. And release the tree pose, going over to side plank on the left side. Either hold side plank or going to tree pose side plank. Squeezing the foot into the inner thigh. And lower down into plank. And downward facing dog, still holding the tree pose if possible. And step it down. Plank. And you can come out of plank and go grab your chair so that we can place our feet on a chair for elevated feet plank. Bringing your feet on the chair, we're gonna go for knee tucks here. You can even lower your elbows on the floor for even more challenge and begin to bring your knees side to side for 10 reps. Knee tucks. Keep your belly strong here. Keep your shoulders down, chest open. Of course, you can do this on the floor. Great. Once you're done with your 10 reps, rest in child's pose. And before we get to sleepy in child's pose, let's press up into downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg comes up, step the right foot between your hands, come up, high lunge. And here we're gonna bring the knee into the chest and step it all the way back into lunge for 5 reps. Try to keep your alignment perfect. Stepping forward, keeping your balance, holding your knee, stepping back. High lunge, knee into the rib cage. High lunge, knee into the rib cage. This is really gonna challenge your balance, so stay focused. And once we're done, we're gonna bring the left elbow on the outside of the right knee into prayer. If you can clasp your hands behind your back, do that. For a bound lunge. Shoulders down. Look down, step your back foot in, coming up standing on your left foot, still holding your right leg into your clasp. See if you can straighten your leg partially. You can pause the video here and practice this if you're still not sure how to do it. And reverse the movement, going back into a clasping high lunge. You can release your hands on the floor, side crow. I'm just gonna experiment with my side crow here. Split my legs, lift them, step it back into high lunge, and hear the different angle of the same move. Stepping back all the way into high lunge, very challenging for the balance. And transitioning into side crow, moving the legs, splitting the legs, scissor your legs, lift, lower the chest down, and slowly lower down into high lunge. And reach with your right hand over your head towards the front of the room. Exhale, both hands on the floor. Let's bring them on the inside of the right foot. Lower your left knee down on the floor. Walk your left knee as far away from you as you can. And breathe into your hip flexor. The right knee is over the right ankle or a little back. Definitely not over your toes. You can lower down onto your elbows. This was a killer. After this class, I just wanted to rest for the evening. I really got a deep stretch in my hip flexors, which generally feels like deep tissue. And let's bring the elbows on the floor and do a few knee tucks here. 10. Keeping the knees as high as you can into your chest. Once you're done with your 10 reps, go into a dolphin pose, walking the feet in towards you, pressing the chest back towards your legs in order to open it. And let's lift into downward facing dog. Lifting the tailbone high, lowering the heels down. Coming back to our breath. And let's inhale the left leg up, step the left foot between your hands. Come up, high lunge on the left side. And let's bring the right knee into the rib cage and back into high lunge 5 times. Focus on your stability. Move steadily here. Taking a really wide step back and bringing the knee forward into your rib cage. Breathe. Once you're done with the 5 reps, bring the hands in prayer and twist. If you're up for doing the same that we did on the right side, on the left, straighten, open your arms out, clasp your hands behind you, open the chest, drop the shoulders down. You may have to do this class a few times before you get all the new moves I'm including today. Now let's step the back foot in, staying on the right foot, come up to standing, keeping your clasp. Do or go as far as you can here. You don't have to straighten your leg, you can just keep the knee bent and try to keep the balance. Looking back adds a little more challenge to this. And slowly step back into clasping, bound, high lunge. And you can bring both hands on the floor and go into either side crow or just some side crow with some playtime. And once you scissor your legs, you can step back into high lunge. And let's bring the hands on the inside of the left foot. Lower the back knee down on the floor, walk it away back from you, and lower onto your elbows if you can, of course. Tuck your tailbone under, extending the tailbone down towards your heel, and hold. You should feel this in your hip flexor. Great, from here just transition into elbow plank. And let's do knee tucks, right and left, go for 10. Keep your belly in. Once you're done with your 10 reps, rest in, extended puppy pose. Breathe into your spine. Press your hips as far back as you can, resisting with your hands. And from here we're gonna come up onto all fours, tuck the toes under, go back into downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg up, bend your knee, drop the foot behind you. Transition into wild thing. Here again I'm including something new. We're gonna reach and grab the ankle. And coming out of this, back into one-legged downward facing dog. Step the right foot between your hands, come up high lunge one more time. All these lunges, if you tuck your tailbone under, are stretching the hip flexors. Clasp your hands behind you, slowly lower the head down towards your ankle, pressing the hands behind your back away from you. Press the back heel away from you. Release the hands on the floor, bring your right shoulder underneath the right knee, and here I'm gonna quickly straighten the leg, holding it over my head, and transition into an arm balance again quickly. This class is pretty quick for being somewhat intense. And back into downward facing dog after an arm balance. Prepare over for the opposite side. We're gonna take the left leg up, bend the left knee, bring the left hip on top of the right hip, step your left foot behind you, see if you can grab your left ankle with your left hand. And slowly Reverse the movement, coming into one-legged downward facing dog. Step the left foot between your hands. And come up high lunge, clasping the hands behind you, open the chest, look up. And slowly begin to lower your head down towards your ankle, hands pressing away from you, soften the front of your shoulders. Another balancing pose, amongst other things. Here we're gonna bring the left shoulder underneath the left knee. See if you can, how far you can go with this one. This I generally do only on strong days. It's pretty taxing. And transition into an arm balance. I was actually feeling a little weak this day, so the class did feel pretty intense for me, but I would love to hear back from you. And upward facing dog. After the arm balance, rest in child's pose. Let's prepare for headstand, optional of course, only if you're familiar with headstand. We're gonna walk the feet in towards the elbows, and if you're not familiar with headstand, you can do here as it's demonstrated, just lifting one leg at a time, holding it, switching, and stay with that. Do it a few times and rest in child's pose. Otherwise, you can bring your knees into your rib cage and stay here, or you can straighten if you're familiar with headstand and hold here. Keep your toes active. Keep pressing into your forearms here so there is no weight placed on your head and on your neck. Slowly coming out of this, resting in child's pose again to give your neck a break. And let's inhale the hands over the head. In child's pose. Coming up to all fours. Bring the right leg forward, flex your right foot. Adjust how far your heel is from your hip and lower down for pigeon stretch. Keep your ribcage lifted and your spine elongated and your back flat. Try not to round your upper back here. And breathe. Coming back to our intention for this class. To stay present, to stay aware of the present moment, to remain aware of our breath. Our breath is what connects us to the now. Slowly come up from pigeon and look over to your right. This axis is the psoas on the left side. And let's bend the left knee. Of course, this is optional. And see if you can bring your leg in, foot in towards you. And you can go into a back bend here. And bring your hands on the floor. And draw a few circles with your toes here. Try to keep your moves here as fluid as you can. Feel where the stagnation feels in your hips and just move in there, breathe in there. Become aware of the tension in your body. That's the first step to releasing it. And here I'm gonna do a quick jump to transition into pigeon on the left side, lowering the left shin bone on the floor. Flex the left foot, move the left heel away from you, keep your hips level with the floor and lower down, making sure as you lower down that your hips are equal distance from the floor, they're square, and your spine is elongated. Lift your rib cage away from your hips and breathe. Going deeper into your hip openers, the key for me in my personal experience with opening my hips is learning to let go. I'm not trying to force this stretch here. I'm not trying to make my body go in a place where my body doesn't want to go or doesn't want to be forced to go in. I'm learning to relax my breath and allow the stretch to occur. As you relax your breath, you relax your muscles and you allow for opening to happen. If you're tensing your breath, you're communicating to your body that there is something to be stressed out about, so your body is holding tension in order to protect you from injury. So you want to learn to relax your breath, to exhale through your hips, and you will see that you can go way deeper than you ever thought you can in your flexibility. So coming up, look over to your left, breathe into your right hip flexor, psoas muscle, and you can bring your right foot in. Optional, you can go into a back bend here. Hands on the floor. Go back into one-legged downward facing dog. Left knee stays off, left foot stays off the floor, and draw circles. Stay fluid here. With all the jumping and the square lunges, square hips, square warriors, we want to find fluidity in our practice. So here it's a good time to draw circles, to be fluid. Here you can take one leg at a time and inhale it across from your body, lifting the leg up and across. And then you can step one foot at a time across from your body over to the opposite side. You will feel this as a really nice stretch in your legs. And back to downward facing dog. Coming onto the tippy toes, hips high, jump forward and back. So basically I'm jumping all the way into coming onto my back. Come onto your back, press your lower back into the floor and come up into both poses. We're going to do a few of those. Here I'm offering an alternative, either with your knees bent or your knees straight, either with your legs way off the floor or very close to the floor. Try to hold this for as long as you can and relax. Supine twist, right knee comes across to your left. Left knee comes across, look over to your left. Let's bring the knees into the rib cage. And again, both poses. I'm really determined to include a lot of those in the next few classes, so stay with it. Chest open, pressing the lower back down. Lower your legs lower to the floor if you can. You can bring one knee at a time. This helps you to press your lower back down into the floor. Really try to connect with your core. Here, if you're familiar with Mula Bandha, is the best time to contract. and lift your Mula Bandha. Holding both. Great. Release, bringing the left and the right knee into the rib cage. And make yourself comfortable for Shavasana, the final relaxation. Allow your shoulders to drop down on the floor. Allow your hips to soften here. Allow your belly to soften. We did work on our abs. So now you want to let go of that firmness there and allow them to be soft. Softening the back of your knees, the back of your thighs. The legs are softening, inner thighs are softening, outer hips are softening, chest is open and relaxed. Relax your shoulders. Allow the outer edges of your shoulders to drop down towards the floor. The head is wide on the floor. And begin to soften your inner ears. Feel the eyeballs sinking back into their sockets. And as you feel heaviness, letting go in that area of the eyes, begin to draw your attention, begin to turn your gaze towards your third eye. Still keeping the eyes closed, your eyes are starting to turn. Your inner gaze is starting to turn towards the third eye. Just gazing, do your best. Gazing towards the space between the eyebrows. Keeping your breath calm, relaxed. Staying connected with your breath. And as we're gazing towards our third eye, slowly begin to shift that same inner gazing even deeper in towards your heart. Starting to gaze deep in towards the heart. Just observing, no judgment. Letting go of everything around you and allowing your heart to be the center of your attention right now. Just gazing towards the heart, observing the heartbeat. Becoming one with your heartbeat. Observing your own heart with love, unconditional love. Allowing the heart to glow with light and lightness. Allowing the heart to be filled, to swell with love. And as you feel your heart filling up with love and light, begin to see that light and that love as a glowing light that is glowing out of your heart, up and down from the chest and from the back side of your body, allowing the chest to open and the back to widen. And your heart is just glowing, opening, filling with light and love. Stay here for a few more moments, observing your heart, sending love to your heart, being aware of your heart, being present, realizing that nothing else matters at the moment other than this very moment. This present moment is all that it matters. And stay here, allow yourself to be present for a few more moments, fully present. And slowly begin to deepen your breath, coming back to awareness. Coming back to paying attention to your body. Wiggle your toes, move your tongue around, draw a few circles with your eyes, point your toes, lift your hands over your head and stretch. And let's bring the knees into the the chest. Hug the knees into your chest, still keeping your eyes closed. And one more time. Bring your hands over your head. Extend your legs, point your toes, stretching the belly. And bringing the knees into the chest. One more time, give yourself a hug. And you can drop your head to one side and then to the other, and bringing the chin over to the left and the right. Just feeling the neck. And then let's drop the knees over to one side, laying on your side in embryo in the womb pose. Feeling extending your umbilical cord down into the earth. And let's come all the way up to seated, still keeping your eyes closed. Bring your hands over your knees. Open your chest, sitting in easy seated pose. Inhale your hands all the way over your head, over the third eye, over the heart. And let's bow to our hearts for their forgiveness, compassion, and love. Namaste.